against the Lakers this year.
Yeah, but I think Steph is going to
get What's the number?
It's got to be 45, Chris.
It's 45?
It's got to be 45, 42 to 45, and Draymond has to have at least.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Looking at a mixture of sun and clouds today, possibly a thunderstorm later this afternoon. High to 80, partly cloudy and 62 for the overnight low. Sun and a cloud mixture and warmer on Thursday, high of 82. I'm Jim Hughes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
Hoffman Turf wants to enhance your property. Hoffman Turf, a locally owned company in Beaver Creek, offers professional lawn care, landscape maintenance, and weed and pest control. We understand your lawn is your investment and strive to give you the most value for your hard-earned money. Let us help you achieve a beautiful, thick, green lawn. Sign up today for fertilization and weed control and save 50% off the first application and 5% off the entire season when you prepay. Schedule today online at HoffmanTurf.com. Hoffman Turf, professional, dependable, affordable.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
It's all about getting the most out of summer. And with Certified Refurbished from eBay, you can enjoy 100% of summer with up to 50% savings on top brands. So tackle your to-do list and break out the playlist with like new products from the brands you love, including Bose, Works, iRobot, and more. Complete with a 2-year warranty from Allstate. Time to go full on summer with half off top brands this year. Shop Memorial Day savings at eBay today.
When the doctor told us about my mom's cancer, it made me feel so helpless. Until I called the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and spoke with Grace, who answered all of my questions about the disease, treatment options, and cancer-related expenses. Her support and compassion made us feel whole again. Today, I'm calling Grace to let her know my mom is beating cancer. To learn more, visit lls.org.
Research shows people remember radio ads that remind them of the past. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's an ad that'll really take you back.
Back in my day, I heard a voice from the radio say, Liberty Mutual customizes my home insurance so I only pay for what I need. I'm getting on in years now, but heavens to Betsy, there are some things an old fella like me just never forgets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Introducing the Lowe's List. While there's innovation in every aisle, these are some of our experts' top picks for 2021. Customize any load with the Whirlpool 2-in-1 washer. Control your home with a touch, thanks to Samsung Connected Appliances. Repel the rain with HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Everlast. And keep the job going longer with the exclusive new line of Flex Power Tools, made for pros. To see who made the full Lowe's list, visit Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I need these boxes in bin 7. Oh, hello. Hi. I just wanted to call in and find out when next...
Whitney's warehouse foreman just retired, and the replacement needs to move to fulfillment.
Hold on. Guys, can we get the dock cleared now?
Indeed can help her hire the people she needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Folks, you show it, we'll feed it. Quality show feeds from Lowe's, Umbarger, Hunter at a great price, along with Sullivan Show products right here at Homestead Feed and Supply, 1833 North Dayton Lakeview Road. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
Dutch Boy's new Platinum Plus paint with Stain Shield technology has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more washable and stain resistant than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Superiority ranges from 24 to 50% depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail and rebate. See store for details.
Audible Plus is everything you want to hear. Listen all you want to thousands of select originals, audiobooks, podcasts, and more. Sign up for a free Audible Plus trial at audible.com.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. Look at him go! Something runs out of his shoe. He's running so fast. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots.
Watch for the great block by Keith Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just nailed it.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome. You're listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Phone number to call is 937-457-9464. One more time, 937-457-9464. You can hit me on Twitter also with your question, comments, or concerns at KAB41 is my Twitter handle. You can get me there. Welcome. It's my show's on Wednesday instead of Monday this week. Had something going on that had to reschedule to today. Justin Kenner. That's hey, when your fiance calls, you got to answer. Ain't that right, Justin? But nevertheless, I'm here today on Wednesday, May 17th. Guys, we're still in the midst of the coronavirus. Here in Ohio, we're doing a good job, but it's not, good enough. We got to continue to take care of one another. Wear your mask. I want to go to Ohio Stadium this year with a full stadium. Some of you guys want to go to Paul Brown Stadium. I don't even remember the name, but it's Cleveland Brown Stadium. But you want to go to all those football games in the fall. I tried to warn you last year this time. Take care of yourself. So if we want to have full football stadiums in the fall, let's take care of ourselves in the spring and summer and get those coronavirus numbers down to, almost literally nothing. So let's take care of one another. Still keep your distance. Of course, we have to listen to our government, but that doesn't stop you from wearing your mask and doing the right things. I'm going to keep mine up. So you see me in public and you see me with my mask on, let's just say hello. And we don't have to shake hands. We can high five. We can high air five each other and point and all that other good stuff, elbow bump. But nevertheless, do all those right things. Black Lives Do Matter. It's not just a slogan. It is a movement. We have to continue to do those things. And I'm going to always talk about it until I don't have to talk about it anymore. So, because the systematic racism has to end, and it has to end with you, has to end with me, has to end with everybody, doing the right things and, taking care of our fellow men. Rest in peace to one of my former baseball heroes growing up. Everybody who played for the Pittsburgh Pirates, when I was a kid, was one of my heroes. He was just a bigger hero if your name happened to have been Roberto Clemente or Willie Stargell or Dave Parker, one of those guys. But Winnie Stinnett, infielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates for 8 years, from 71 to 79. He's part of 2 World Series championships. He passed away a couple of days ago of cancer. Winnie Stinnett is best known. He's had the record, major league record, for going 7 for 7, had 7 hits in a 9-inning baseball game. I remember that headline like it was yesterday. It happened in 1975. And against the Chicago Cubs, they were blowing the Cubs out. I think the score was 22-0. And 9-inning game. Winnie Stinnett went 7 for 7, and it was tied about 10 years later, but that was a 14-inning game. But imagine 7 hits in one baseball game. Wow. And that's when they had real pitchers in the game. So just want to rest in peace to Winnie Stinnett. and his family and friends across the country and across the world. So, old number 6, I said, big fan of all my Pittsburgh Pirates. So I just wanted to put that out there. One of my questions of the day is that I'm asking you this, and I'm going to come to you right away, Justin, on this, and get my producer. How does he feel about this? So how do you guys feel about trash talking in sports, whether it be baseball, boxing, football, basketball, etc., track and field? What are your thoughts about trash talking? So, Justin, you can answer that. I'll answer after you. How do you feel about trash talking? Is it acceptable or not acceptable, or what?
I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be, and it's always been a part of sports. I mean, anytime that you have, look, you're talking about professional sports. I mean, these are the most uber competitive individuals out there.
Well, I didn't say professional. I said
just in general.
In general, it can.
I'm fine. Third graders
is okay. Trash talking. It should be as professional, or maybe college, high school. Is it acceptable?
I think so. I mean, look, everything has a limit. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a line. That line's always moving as far as, what used to be acceptable and what's no longer acceptable. But it takes a lot to offend me when it comes to an athletic contest, when it comes to smack talk and trash talk. There's guys like me who trash talk and we can't back it up. And then there's guys like you who could probably trash. Were you a trash talker?
Not really. Not really. I try. Let me refer. I talked a little trash, but I was more of reactionary. I wasn't. I wasn't the protagonist in the story. I didn't start it. I used to just finish it, and most of the time I finished it with my play. I always had a couple of rebuttals back and forth to you, but otherwise, I didn't really talk a lot of trash.
When you played against teams, though, who was that team that you knew that mentally you had to prepare to not let them get under your skin because you knew they were just going to talk smack? And that could be high school basketball, college football, question. NFL, whatever. Sorry, it's your show. Your
it is my show, and my question.
I turned it on you.
That's okay. That's fine. Right? A little banter. But in college, I didn't really talk a lot of trash. Every once in a while, I remember one time against Purdue, actually, Rod Woodson, a good friend of mine, Rod hit me in the first quarter of the game. I was being tackled, and and then Rod came in and tried to clean up, and he got a good shot on me. And it was funny to me because, as I was going down and Rod comes and hit me, and as we were unpaddling, I just looked at Rod and said, "That's all you got?
Bring it more."
Yeah, and so when I said that to him, that ticked him off because I knew that was all he had. He had no more, and so he came back with, "Oh, your mama." Don't ever bring my mama name up.
First of all, yes, like you don't bring up someone's mama, but like
you
really
don't do that.
But that's one of those like that smack talk. That's weak.
Yes,
that's low hanging fruit. That's easy. You go for
easy.
the mom.
He said my mom. I said my mom way up in the stands. She got nothing to do with this.
You watch the
and movie, this was the first quarter.
You ever see the movie The Little Giants?
No. Is that the one LT's in it? Isn't it?
Yeah. Don't you know? It's don't be talking about my mama. You don't remember that movie? Hopefully people listening know what I'm talking about, but nonetheless. But that's
what he
weak
said.
Smack talk. That if we're going to categorize it, that's weak.
And I just turned up another level, and we ended up losing that game, but it was not. That was in 1984. But I had 191 yards rushing, 101 yards receiving, and 67-yard kickoff return.
Team, but yes,
and I still have a famous touchdown run that game. I stiff-armed Rod Woodson and I stepped into the end zone as I was pointing at the other guy I was trash talking on my way into the end zone. So
my mama's proud of me.
Yes, pretty good. But professionally, when we played the Washington football team, Wilbur Marshall, he talked the most trash. He was number one, followed by a close second with the Minnesota Vikings. John Randall was number two. Their mouths never stopped going the whole game. So the answer to my own question is, I think trash talking is acceptable in sports, but there is a line between trash talking and going over the line and being disrespectful. And and did Muhammad Ali disrespect people when he was talking trash during the boxing?
That was the showmanship.
Yeah, I didn't really think that was just part of it. It wasn't personal, even though it was personal, some of his attacks. But
see, boxing's
it's
so
okay.
physical. If I'm tuning into a boxing match, I know that these guys don't like each other. They're going to be hitting each other. So for me to have the mindset of, oh, these guys need to be respectful and kind to one another, that totally goes against the nature of the sport to begin with. So that doesn't bother me. That adds to the showmanship of the sport. In fact, it gets you to buy in more. Oh man, I can't believe he said that. How is he going to respond? How is he going to back it up? Of course, Muhammad Ali, you always knew he was going to back it up.
Oh yeah. But the purpose of trash talking is to gain an advantage over your opponent, mental advantage, because it's physically, you're not bothering him physically by talking, but you're mentally, getting him off his game by trash talking. And that works both ways. But I think the individual has to be able to, like you said earlier, has to be able to back up what you say. If you're saying it, not physically, but your performance has to back it up. Now, I got a high school story. When I was in high school, I was on a track team, and we were playing with this big meet, used to be huge here in Dayton, the Roosevelt Memorial track meet. It would be over 100 high schools from all around the tri-state, or it'd be teams from Canada, Michigan, Kentucky, and Indiana would come to Dayton for this track meet. So there's one high school out of Detroit Central High School, and they were notorious trash talkers. And one of our best guy on the track team, he lives here in Dayton by the name of Laren Brown. Laren Brown is running the 200, and they're in the lanes, and then they're announcing in lane 2 and lane 3, et cetera. And so when they announced, I think Laren was running in lane 4. The guy that was in lane 3 was from Detroit Central, and he's in Laren Brown's face talking trash during the announcements. And we was like, what? That's unusual. Everybody's supposed to be in your own lanes. But he was talking trash to Laren to try to get Laren, because he was as fast as Laren. He was pretty fast. But Laren ran his best 200 of the year. That he blew that dude's doors off. And we like, Laren, what happened, man? He got me real mad. We're like, we need to hire him to come to keep you mad. You're going to run like this. So trash talking can work in your favor sometime. And that worked good for us and not so good against them, because if he wouldn't have trash talked Laren, it probably would have been a neck and neck finish at the tape. But that little trash talk, you incentivize your opponent to overcome you. And so when people used to trash talk me, growing up here in Dayton, playing in a lot of the local basketball courts here in the city, it's nothing but trash talking going out there. So I grew up with trash talkers, and I always knew how to respond to it, because they're just trying to get an advantage. So when I went on to play in college and professional, I had so much trash talking instilled in me, whereas I'm not going to waste that energy giving it out, but I know what you're trying to do by giving it to me, so I'm not going to get off my game. And so there's just anything that made me mentally stronger to overcome the trash talking. But I think as a coach, you can't allow your kids to be disrespectful and and do trash talking. So I don't think there's room for trash talking in middle school, 7th and 8th graders, and elementary. No, you haven't had enough reps to have the privilege to be trash talking your opponent. You celebrate with your teammates on good plays, but you don't have to let that overcome and be disrespectful to another 7th and 8th grader or anything like that. But once you get to the varsity level, I'm okay with a little trash talking, just not too much, and it really should just be between the two players. I don't think the other teammates and the coaches and the fans should not get involved, especially when you're watching a varsity basketball game or a varsity football game, but more so in basketball when we're right there you can really see, you can see the two players, talk trash. But as long as all it is just words and you're not hurting your team, because some people cannot talk trash and you're so busy trying to get you off their game, they're being selfish now. They're forgetting about their own teammates and doing what's right, for the team. So I'm only okay, and that's really, a team by team or individual by team basis, who can talk trash and who can't, and I'll just leave it at that. So if you have anything you want to add to that, Justin?
Let me ask you, when people say, is bulletin board material actually a thing? If you're gearing up, it's week, I don't care what week it is, let's say week 3, NFL season, and you're playing, let's say you're playing the Cowboys, and someone on the Cowboys said, oh man, luckily, we have a bye week this week because we got the Eagles or whatever. Does that motivate you? I mean, is that a thing? Like, we as media always say that all the time. Oh, don't give him bulletin board material. Fans buy into that too. I don't really buy into all those little things that we try to build up in storytelling when it comes to matchups. But when you're in a locker room, I just can't think that Keith Byars is sitting there, man, I'm not really motivated to play this week. Oh, wait, they said what? Oh, that's what I needed to motivate me to play. You don't need the other team to say something to motivate you to play. And if you do, you shouldn't be in the league then. Is that real?
Yes, it is real.
Oh, then retract it.
No, but
you could be in the league. My bad.
You don't need it, but when it happens, it does. It kind of.
So it is a thing.
It is a
thing.
Okay,
fair enough.
It is a thing, and like you said, it considers a source who said it. If the second or third stringer said it, he ain't gonna play.
Like when Juju said the Browns being the Browns, and he was talking, they just lost to the Browns final week of the regular season. He says the Browns being the Browns, he talks smack about the Browns, and the Browns going to beat him in the playoffs, and then he still keeps talking smack. Juju Smith, you think motivated the Browns to want to beat this like that? I guess that
didn't hurt. It didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt.
It just felt better for once the Browns beat Steelers for it. It's a bit of satisfaction, and if I'm a Steelers, that's not why we lost, but it didn't help. They're already motivated. We've beaten them how many times in a row?
Like when Von Bell laid him out in the Bengals-Steelers game.
Yes.
That was cool because he was doing the TikTok dances on the Bengals midfield, and watching Von Bell just go and flatten him was pretty cool.
No, that was real cool.
The only time I felt good during the Bengals game. Oh, yeah.
It tastes even better when that happens. I mean, so you have to, like I said, and that's a case-by-case deal. I love trash talking with boxers because there's nobody to help you. You have to back up what you're saying. So Muhammad Ali or up until today, okay, feel free because you got to step in that ring. You got nobody going to block nobody and, take any of these punches. It's all you. So I get that and I understand it. But, just as long as you're not, disrespecting the sport. And that's a part of, you wouldn't have WWE or WF if it wasn't for trash talking. That's what sells.
Storytelling component of it,
Yeah, that's what sells. So my next subject, I have to, I'm going to give you a little teaser for the listeners. I will talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns, but I'm only going to talk about their quarterbacks. I'm going to talk about what do you expect of them in 2021. So, I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but that's going to be, what do you expect out of Baker Mayfield if you're a Cleveland Browns fan? What do you expect out of Joe Burrows if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan? What do you expect? Realistic expectations. Realistic expectations. But, hey, NBA playoffs started last night. Can you believe it? NBA playoffs started last night. I know it doesn't feel like it because you had the play-in games. The 7 and 8 versus and the 9 and 10 teams had to play. And I don't know. I just haven't really followed that closely. I had to really rack my brain to get around. Okay, what does the play-in mean again? So when I finally understood it, I still don't like it. I don't like it. You have 8 teams that quote-unquote qualify for the playoffs. And they have tiebreakers associated with it. So why do you have to go in here and change it and we don't have these play-in games? And I don't get it. It's almost like, we are in the trophy generation. Everybody shows up, everybody gets a trophy. So the teams that finished 9th, 10th, 11th, you didn't make the playoffs. You had all these other games to make it. Now we're going to give you another chance to play in. No, you just don't simply deserve a playoff spot if we got to make up a formula for you to make the playoffs. Last night, Indiana and Charlotte played, and Charlotte act like, this season been over for a week and a half. They lose their last 6 games of the regular season and this playoff game. They had no business even being in there. You knew that. There's a reason why they were the 10th seed. Because they wouldn't win the top 8. But nevertheless, Indiana, put it on them. And then Boston and Washington played last night, and Washington, played like an 8 seed. But now Washington lost. Now they're going to play Indiana to see who gets to play the Sixers to see, how, to watch the Sixers hopefully sweep them in 4. So my point is, you already have 8 teams. There's no reason to make 7 and 8 play and 9 and 10 play. Why are you trying to add these extra 3 teams, these extra 2 teams into the playoffs? They just didn't make it. But NBA, you're trying to make everybody feel good. But I just disagree with it. Hopefully, after this season, we got a pandemic-free season that go back to the top 8, make it. And and I don't really, and I hate the first round of the playoffs being 7 games. I understand it now because it's all marketing. It's about making money. Got to pay these salaries, so you got to have more games. But why do I need to see the 1 and the 8 team play a 7-game series? 5 is plenty for me. 5 games is plenty. You get 2 at home if you're the number 1, the higher ranked team. And if you can't win, you can't sweep them both at home and then win 1 out of 2 on the road, then come back and and then play game 5. You do not have to play 7-game series. That's just too much wear and tear up and down that hardwood, or for a 1 and 8 seed. Same could be said for the 4 and 5 and the 3 and 6 and the 2 and 7. All you need is a 5-game first round, best of 7 for the semifinal, best of 7 at the final, and then you get to the NBA finals. That's all it has to do. So, but they did start last night, and tonight we're going to get treated to 2 more games. We're going to have the Memphis Grizzlies, who's the 9th seed, against the 10th seed of San Antonio Spurs. They're playing, and then the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. Right now, Lakers are 7, then the Golden State is 8. They should both just be in the playoffs normally, and we don't need to watch the Spurs and the Grizzlies play. Loves, Conley, but you guys, John Morant, but you're the 9th seed. You didn't make it. So why are we going to give you 2 more chances, 2 more bites at the apple? I just simply do not understand, but that's what it is. I just don't like it, but I will be watching because I'm a sports junkie. I got to watch it, so I will be watching, the games tonight. And I was watching Charles Barkley and Shaq, those guys talk about it last night, and it was like, if the Lakers need to win because they do not want to play Utah in the first round. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if you're going to win the championship, you don't duck anybody. But nevertheless, I understand why they were saying. They was talking about as matchups go, and but we will see. That being said, who do I have? Oh, I got Phoenix Suns head coach Monty Williams. He's the coach of the year. He's the coach of the year, and deservedly so. So shout out to Coach Monty Williams being coach of the year. And when we come back on the other side, I'm going to give you my pick for who's going to win the NBA championship finals. And then I will talk about Joe Burrows, Cincinnati Bengals, and Baker Mayfield of the Cleveland Browns. And what do we expect out of them in 2021? Are they in the study? Are they in the lab right now perfecting their craft to get ready for the fall? Get us to the Keith Byars radio show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
Real quick, I'll jump in here real quick. Mark Schlemmer, this is a good way to segue into the next part of your show. Mark Schlemmer on Facebook. Let me make sure we can read this here. He says, okay, KB, 2-part question. How much do you as a player pay attention to those polls and ranking by positions like the ones that we talked about before the show started? So you're an active player right now. Do you pay attention to those? Did you pay attention to your playing days? And then the second part is who you got, the Lakers or the Warriors? So that's something for you to think about during the break.
Right after the break.
All right, we'll be back in a moment. More of the Keith Byars Show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken next.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
The thing about comparing rates at Progressive.com is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about comparing rates at Progressive.com. We probably don't even need the words comparing rates anymore to remind you that seasoning steaks at Progressive.com is an easy way to save on car insurance, or that swimming in trousers helps you find the lowest rate. And that's the thing about foraging for truffles. You've heard a lot of ads about standing tiptoe on a cinder block. Compare rates and sing softly to a wounded field mouse and save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Hey, my name is Jonelle, and a little thing that I love about Chick-fil-A's new Lemon Kale Caesar salad is every tender, warm, juicy piece of grilled chicken. It's a Caesar salad, but it's different. You have the Parmesan breadcrumbs and the mixture of lemon with that romaine and kale. It's almost something I can't explain, but it'll make you want to sing. Lemon Kale Caesar.
Order the new Lemon Kale Caesar salad on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
It's time for some straight talk. You've got real work to do, but everyone's sucking up the free Wi-Fi faster than a Mocha Choco double frap on ice. So be your own hotspot. Now with Straight Talk Wireless, get 10 gigs of hotspot data with the ultimate unlimited plan. Just $55 a month on America's largest and most dependable networks. You don't have to find a hotspot. You are the hotspot. Straight Talk Wireless.
No contract, no compromise. Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager, Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need service, we're here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 6 to 8 and Saturdays from 7 to 5. We proudly offer a state-of-the-art facility with factory-trained technicians, clean waiting room, and service department. Loaner cars are available during service and free alignment checks with any service. Be sure to stop in and ask for our $39.95 oil change special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, State Route 35, east of 675, between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Small Business Month is here, and Dell Technologies and Windows can help you upgrade your tech with up to 45% off high-performance PCs. Work anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada, nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer.
Look at him go! Something runs out of his shoe. He's running so fast.
And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots.
Watch for the great block by Keith Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just nailed it.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. You listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. It's lunchtime, so hopefully you maybe see one not far from where you are. Just pull over, get you something to eat. We got some chicken in here, by the way. You can't have mine, though, even though some of the workers here are going to come get some. But nonetheless, hey, let's get back to the show. Let's talk some sports. Let's see what's on your mind. And Justin, will you read that question to me that we had going in the break? My good friend Mark Schlemmer, he sent it in.
So Mark Schlemmer jumped in. He said it's a two-part question. He wanted to know how often, for you as a player, did you pay attention to those polls and rankings by positions?
Never.
So Pro Football Focus just put out their, they ranked all the quarterbacks. And, of course, all the, everyone's like, I can't believe that quarterback's ranked here. I can't believe this quarterback is ranked this low. There's no way these guys should be ahead of them. That's just fan and media reaction. What were those talks like in the locker room when those rankings would come out? Because I'm pretty sure.
Believe it or not, I never paid attention to them. I think when I was coming out, the Pro Bowl, meant a lot, to us. And the guys who made it, you either agreed or disagreed. And it was only a few disagreements like, no, I don't think he should have made it. He definitely should have made it. And so you kind of had a barometer who was what, and especially during my Philadelphia Eagle days, it was so much more talent in the NFC as opposed to the AFC. So there's a whole lot of guys that didn't make the Pro Bowl that you thought should have made the Pro Bowl. And he's like, man, this guy was in the AFC. He'd have so many more Pro Bowls because they're just not as good as we are in this side. So we never paid much attention to it. You knew who was and who wasn't. I mean, I didn't need a poll to tell me that Lawrence Taylor was the most dominant linebacker in football. And then when it came to quarterbacks, I didn't need a poll to tell me who was the best quarterback because it was a whole lot of people fighting for that. I mean, you got Joe Montana, who's perennially out there, Dan Marino, John Elway, Jim Kelly, Doug Williams, Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham. It's just a long, and Phil Simms. It's just a lot of good players that we never set back with who we think is number one. Doesn't matter. You're going to play all these guys at some point. Just try to be on top of your game when you play them. Same with the running backs. When I was a rookie, coming to the NFL, Walter Payton was still in the NFL. Tony Dorsett was still in the NFL. I mean, so I came in like, wow, there's some dudes I grew up watching. Now I'm here with these guys. He's like pretty special. So I never really worried, much about those guys. What's the other part of the question?
And then the next part of the question, and you've talked a little NBA already.
I meant to say those lists.
With the Lakers and the Warriors in the play-in game or whatever they're calling them. By the way, this is just like a wild card, right? Like every sport has their own version of this. Like the NCAA tournament has the first four. Baseball calls it the wild card, and the NFL has the wild card. They even added an extra wild card, which to me, I don't like when we call it something different. The play-in is the playoffs. The first four is the NCAA tournament. The wild card. Why are we calling it the wild card? If that's the first round of games being played in the damn playoffs, it's the playoffs.
Because you made the playoffs. It's not a regular season game. It is.
But they brand it as something different just so before marketing. We get to the playoffs, we got to get to the wild card. Well, the wild card is the playoffs. In fact, we say the teams made the playoffs even when they make the wild card. It doesn't make any.
Yeah, the Cavaliers didn't have a game last night, did they?
No,
exactly.
So, and like the first four teams, they're going to put NCAA tournament in their programs and their program history books. It's going to say we made the NCAA tournament in this year.
And they get a goodie bag too, right?
Yeah. It's the NCAA tournament. And Dayton does an amazing job hosting it. And it's
awesome job.
It looks like the NCAA tournament. It is the NCAA tournament. It is not a play-in tournament. I know that's what it used to be called, but no, that's all this is. I just didn't think it was necessary. I mean, you have to you qualified as a 7 seed, but now you have to play a play-in game to get back to
make
the
sure
playoffs
you get these
that you
guaranteed 4
for.
games. So we're going to guarantee you 2, because if you lose as a 7th and 8th, you get one more shot at the apple. as opposed to, if you lose, those first two games in the playoff, the quote unquote real playoffs, you're 0-2. Right now, there's just nothing. So I do have.
Yeah, you have
the
five.
Golden
So
State.
I'm going to check out.
I got the Golden State winning the game. I got Golden State winning the game tonight. I don't know why, but I just do. And I don't really think at the end of the day it doesn't even matter who wins or who loses because they're both going to play. I mean, unless. Well, they're both going to have another game. It's not over tonight, but you want to win, to be eligible to play. The number 2, the Phoenix Suns. If you win, you play the Phoenix Suns. If you lose, you got to play the winner of Memphis and San Antonio. So you have to wait one more time before you decide who's going to play the Utah Jazz. So in other words, play your guts out tonight to get an extra day of rest. Otherwise, you got to play another game a lot sooner than you expect. But it's going to be interesting to watch. But I said before the break, I want to talk a little bit about what I expect this coming fall out of Joe Burrows for the Bengals and Baker Mayfield for the Browns. It's simply this. For Baker Mayfield, it's time for him to take another step. And then, and then after that, he's got to take another step, but he's going into his 4th year, of the National Football League quarterback. He's going to be, we call him a 4-year starter, even though he didn't start his whole first year. He started the second half of the season. And I don't really judge quarterbacks until they play 4 years in the NFL. I mean, after they got to at least get 3 before you get on my radar. So I do have, Baker Mayfield, on my quarterback ranking list. I have him listed as elite, above average, the lower tier, the young guys, and then the old pros. Right now, I have Baker Mayfield in my average quarterback league. And I have 9 guys in that block of quarterbacks who I consider average. And just because I call you average, that means you can still go up. There's still room to grow for Baker Mayfield. There's certainly room to grow. And they got other guys in this thing I call average. And Cam Newton is one of my average quarterbacks in the National Football League. He can possibly still go up, but more likely he's only going to go down. He's maybe at his ceiling right now. We'll see how this year goes in New England, or he'll be going down to the lower tier guys. That don't mean you have to stay there, but going into 2021, I have Baker Mayfield as an average quarterback. He's played 3 years. He gave you a little excitement as a rookie. Last year, I think he took a step back. I mean, his second year in the league, and then in the year 3, he took a step forward. He got his team into the playoffs. I think the light kind of went off in Baker's head where I don't have to throw 300 yards, and that's to win the game for me to have a successful Sunday. I could throw for 175 or 150, and the team runs for 200 yards, and we win, and nothing's going to be said about my play. Or I could throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, and we lose, and everybody's going to talk about that one interception I threw. So I think Baker's starting to see the formula for success. I want him to take that to the next level this fall. Win football games, and you're going to get the credit. We always talk about the quarterbacks get more blame when team loses and too much praise when the team wins. Baker needs to understand those are the rules and just do what he has to do to get better. So he should be in the lab right now, working on his, reading defenses, being honest with yourself, and having coaches critique your game extra critical now because you don't have a game on Sunday. So I'm expecting Baker to take another step forward and lead the Browns into the playoffs, into a division championship. Now for Joe Burrows, he's coming off an injury. He's only played, 10 games. We expecting even more. He should certainly be in the lab. He hasn't even seen half the National Football League yet, so he doesn't even get a grade. I have him listed as my young guns, guys that played 3 years or less, so he's only going into year 2. I like what I saw out of year 1, out of Joe Burrows. Hopefully that line gets stronger over the summer into the fall. So, Joe, take another step, take 2 steps. Let's get Cincinnati above 500, and you're playing all 16 games. That's what I'm expecting next year out of Joe Burrows and Baker Mayfield. You've been listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. And I will see you again Monday. Have a pleasant week. Talk to you soon.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio. WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Well, what do you think about the playing tournament?
I like the opportunity.
Should be a great one tonight. The Warriors and the Lakers in Los Angeles. You can hear it right here on ESPN Radio, as well as Memphis and San Antonio as well. Coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Bart and Hahn on ESPN Radio and ESPN Plus, presented by Progressive Insurance. And all guests appear via the Goodyear Hotline. And right now we're going to the Goodyear Hotline to welcome in a guy who's done tremendous work when it comes to mental health. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. He is of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is Kevin Love, who has teamed up with Geno Mind in New